I wanted to make a short video sharing some information that I recently came across. Apologies if you've already heard it, but I think I figured out why it has become incredibly hard to be successful as a print-on-demand seller on Etsy. I should rephrase that. It's not that hard to be successful, but it's harder on Etsy. I mean, you can let me know if you disagree in the comments too. I would love to hear from you. I think it's a lot harder to succeed on Etsy, let's say to hit 10K a month if you had to choose a number, than it is to do on Amazon, for instance, or even probably Walmart at this point. I know that might be a hot take, but I'm going to show you why. So let's get to it. So I'm going to put a link to the references from this video in the description so you can check it out for yourself. But we have to start with Etsy in 2022, okay? 2022, not 2023. They had 7.4 million active sellers. Now that's an arbitrary number. What does that mean? Is that a lot? Is that a little? Well, it's actually probably a lot. We know Etsy experienced a lot of growth post-COVID, or at least post whatever you want to call it, 2020, hysteria, let's call it. 2023 now, okay, from 2022 to 2023, and it was already popular in 2022. Etsy all of a sudden jumps to 9 million active sellers. So from 7.4 million to 9 million, a gain of 21% active sellers on the platform. Again, a little bit of an arbitrary number though, because if there's a lot of buyers, does this number mean anything? No, right? But it's all about kind of that relativity. So let's look at the buyers. 96.4 million active buyers on Etsy in 2023. They defined that as somebody who had bought at least one thing in the past 12 months on Etsy. So if you do the math, it kind of works out to about 10 buyers for every one seller. That ratio, I wish I had something to compare it with on like Walmart or Amazon. I don't, but that's not that, like, to me, that's quite a few sellers for every one buyer. You know what I mean? That ratio, I'd feel a lot better if it was, you know, a lot more buyers per every seller. Because we also know that a lot of the sales get absorbed by the same sellers, right? We all know there's those black hole Etsy shops that will have like 100,000, 200,000 sales that you can go and look up a bunch of really high value keywords. And this is just, let's just say in the context of print on demand, and see them ranking at the top of page 1 across multiple high value search terms, right? So they're absorbing so many sales that, you know, when I say us as new sellers, I'm assuming most people would identify as relatively new sellers, but it really doesn't matter if you're new or not. I mean, I guess I have a different perspective being on this side of things, because I'll see people who are new Etsy sellers sending me their shops for review. And I'm like, damn, you guys have like 5 sales and your Etsy shop is pristine. You know what I mean? Your mockups are incredible. Designs look great. Pricing is competitive. You know what I mean? It's like every box is checked. Why aren't you generating more sales? Well, I hopefully am shedding a little bit of light, you know, for perspective here. Again, 2022, 7.4 million active sellers, jumps 21% to 9 million in 2023. I wish I had 2021 to 2022, because I guarantee you that was probably a big jump as well. But it seems like it went, I don't know, like it was like the thing to do in 2023, right? Selling on Etsy, selling POD on Etsy. And only 96.4 million active buyers. So that ratio about 1 to 10, you know what I mean? One seller for every 10 buyers. And again, that's a buyer's defined as someone who only had to purchase one thing in the past 12 months. So it doesn't necessarily mean a lot of sales are taking place with this number. I also wanted to share that, you know, I think Etsy wants to bring down the number of sellers on their platform. Obviously there's also like, you know, I'm not saying that this is a huge problem on Etsy. I've seen it on Amazon where it becomes a problem, where there might be black hat sellers. And anybody that is selling on Etsy, I know you've received spam messages before, right? Where there's some predatory things going after the sellers. It seems like Etsy's trying to curb that. I did hear that Etsy is planning on implementing some restrictions with opening new accounts, new seller accounts, that is. Things like having to take a selfie while you go through the application process and then upload identification as well. And your selfie has to match the ID. They're going to maybe potentially charge $15 to open up a new shop. I think somebody said they may have already seen that live. I'm not sure. I haven't opened up a new shop recently. And then in addition to that, potentially delaying the first few payouts. Like your payout frequency for a new shop will be more delayed in case you open a new shop and just want to do like black hat stuff. You know what I mean? It's easy with print on demand on Etsy. I've seen shops that are brand new lock in a few thousand sales by just ripping off like every NFL and MLB team logo, which of course is a terrible strategy for the long term. But if Etsy's going to give you your money, you could argue it's a decent short-term cash grab idea. I'm not saying nobody should do that, by the way. I'm just saying I've seen it done. Also, just for some perspective here, Etsy 2023 fourth quarter revenues increased 4.3% to $842.3 million. So 4.3% increase year over year when compared to Q4 2022. And this quote from them, and again, this is linked in the description if you want to check my resources here to get this information, but this is from an earnings call. You know, Etsy is a publicly traded company. It's in the S&P 500, so they give a little bit of this information as you would expect. It says, quote, Etsy ads and offsite ads helped boost revenues. And this is just another way of saying, hey, they're making a decent amount of money off of the sellers, as you would expect. I mean, you can't blame them for monetizing the sellers with 9 million of them on the platform. You know what I mean? So they may even, I mean, I don't want to say anything. I don't want to even speak it into existence, but I heard chatter. There may be other ways that they go after the sellers in addition to the listing fees, but let's just hope that nothing else happens because it's already hard enough to make money on Etsy. Anyways, guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I wanted to do this video just to share this information with you because I found it very interesting myself. Let me know if you found it interesting. I also wanted to point out that my approach to print on demand that makes me six-figure profit every year since 2019 involves a complementary approach. So if Etsy gets harder and harder because everybody's getting into Etsy, guess what? I'm going to make up for that by being on Walmart, by being on Amazon, you know what I mean? By doing all the above, eBay, Redbubble, the tier 3 platforms that you can automate uploads to. There's so many ways to make money with print on demand, and it's not necessarily hard to do because you can automate almost all of this. I always say automate 95%. I just kind of made that number up, but it's about 95%. Seriously, once you start using the automation tools, design, uploads, SEO, it's pretty much all covered. So that's covered in my course. It's linked in the description. Just wanted to give that a shout out. Thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you soon with a new video.